Hi all. Hey, it's been a little while. It's been about a week since I did my last video. And actually, I actually did record like another video a couple days later from the last one that was put up on YouTube. And for some reason, like it just would not upload. And I'm not sure like what that was about or why it wouldn't upload, but I tried to upload it like 6 or 7 times and it failed every time. And it was just the weirdest thing. So I just kind of gave up on that one, like of having it uploaded. And yeah, it's kind of curious and kind of strange, like why, like it didn't want to, um, yeah, be shared or whatnot. But yeah, it was interesting, um, because yeah, of all the synchronicities and all the things at play in that video that I couldn't upload. So I just wanted to like share a few things like that were shared with that, in that kind of relates to like the last video that was shared that actually uploaded to YouTube. But it was about like conformity and about like social learning, and like because I was kind of working through some stuff with that, like my feelings about that, like about conformity, and like how shame is used as a weapon, and how, yeah, shame is used for social learning in certain ways. And it can be helpful if it's used in a healthy way. Like there is such a thing as healthy shame, but there is also unhealthy shame. And yeah, knowing like the difference of how those like two types of shame can be used to teach or to learn, you know. And one of my struggles about that was like the need for self control versus like social belonging and social control, yeah, in certain ways. And so, yeah, I've been working through some hard things this week, and I feel like a big release coming and a big breakthrough is on its way in process, in transition. Because the last couple weeks, really, to be honest, have been some of the hardest uh, weeks of this journey. You know, during the last 6 months, the last couple weeks have been pretty hard and pretty challenging. And so I've been crying a little bit today. Just a good day to release and express and feel all I feel and allow it to feel it, to heal it, and reveal, yeah, all that gets to be revealed and healed. So yeah, it hasn't been easy. It has not been easy, but in a way, it has had its share of grace and ease within the unease, the uneasy, the disease. So there's always that, where it's like the yin yang, where the light holds the darkness and the darkness holds the light. It all holds each other. So it's all right. So beautiful, terrible, and amazing. And I just picked up this book today that was recommended to me. It's called Rise, Sister, Rise. And my mom got it for me for my birthday. Thanks, Mom. And I flipped open the page to modern day goddess worship. And there's this little poem that's in bold, and it just caught my eye. And it says, "This might be the story of her fall, but we are living in the time of her rise. Through the winds, the trees, and the beating of our hearts, she whispers, 'Rise, sister, rise.'" So I think that's beautiful. A prayer for her rising. I haven't read this yet. Let's read and see what it says. A prayer for her rising. As we shake off the shackles of the past, may we create a whole new archetype for women in these awakening times. As we reclaim our voices, may we find the strength to speak for those who do not have one. As we surrender to our cyclic nature, may we be strengthened by the effortless rhythm of the earth. As we honor our bodies, may we be reconnected with the ancient wisdom that lies within. As we remember the sacredness of our womanhood, may we step into the potency of who we came here to be. As we let go of mistrust and past hurts, may we mend the severing of sisterhood and remember that there is more than enough room for us all to rise. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Yeah. Amen, so it is. So, that's great. Yeah. So I've been working through this anger and this grief and this sorrow and this sadness, and seeing where I have gone into my survival strategies during this upheaval and this time of crisis and opportunity. And a lot of things have been illuminated, so the light could shine for me and make the darkness conscious. And so all of these little triggers that have triggered me greatly have been great messages for me to see into me. My intimacy with me is what I really need. And so even though it's easier sometimes to see like the archetypes that are playing out outside of me, it helps me recognize what's asking for inclusivity and what's asking for my attention and my willingness and my forgiveness. And so I'm grateful for that. Like, even though like it's brought up and it's stirred the pot and it's brought everything up to the surface that needed to be seen and addressed and retrieved and forgiven and healed and integrated within me. Yeah, it's been like quite the healing journey and really packed full of everything. And so I decided to go back. I kept getting nudges to go back to that dream that I had, that powerful dream that I had March 1st, and keep working with it because there are certain steps that need to be taken, and those steps can't be skipped during transition. And so I'm willing to work with it and to be with it and to play with it and allow it to unfold, allow it to be released, allow it to teach me, allow it to grow me, allow it to stretch me, and to see what I need to see all I need to see all I need to see about me, see all I need to see about we, see all I need to see about what's asking me for love, integration, release, transformation, inclusivity, honoring the whole within me, the whole that I am, the whole I get and came here to be. So, yeah. Before I go back into that dream, there's a little poem that I wrote that I shared in my video that wouldn't upload, and I just wanted to read that first. And it's called The Garden, because we are the gardeners and we are the garden. We're the garden that we're caring for. We're the garden that's growing. And we work with the garden, and the garden works with us. The garden, works through us, for us. So, the garden. Oh, little flower, perfect archetypal image, a miracle, new life, a gift and a vision. New life rising through winter's cold sleep and death's quiet slumber, conceiving new dreams. O little flower, lift up thy head, stretch and awaken to dream life again. Feel all this love through the gardener's hands, as she nurtures and cares to intend and attend. Clearing debris and old growth from your bed, to stretch and awaken, pick up the gold thread. This mess is our garden, 'tis our love to pardon, to nourish the garden, let go, and bloom into you. So yeah, I am pretty emotional, feeling emotional today. Yeah, just seems like I might just drop, or cry at the drop of a hat today, where it's all coming to the surface to be expressed and released, to be forgiven and healed and reconciled, so I can be at peace. That's what I've been reminding myself lately, is that I'd rather be free than be right, you know? And so looking at those survival strategy needs of the need to be right, or the need to be seen as right, or the need to feel right, or be right, yeah. And so just looking back at those things, where my idealist, I've been working with my idealist because she's shown me some things, like with my struggles, that I've been trying to please, trying to make comfortable, trying to, I don't know if it's really force is the right word, but force ease, but we can't force, we can't control things. Like the things that we control end up controlling we, and tightening the chains of our slavery. The tighter we try and control things, the more we're tightening our own chains of slavery. So there's that to be aware of and to play with there, to look at. So yeah. Anyways, I have a little bookmark here, and I just wanted to go over some of this dream because like it was asking me to go back and look at it. And what really it was like, okay, so like my agendas for control, or for my sense of security, or my sense of well-being, or my sense of belonging and whatnot, like knowing that like I didn't really feel like it was my job to convince anyone of anything, but really just hoping that they would come around and see things more deeply, and not necessarily see things in my way or the ways that I see them, but really see more than what they were seeing and be open to seeing like more than they were seeing. And it's just been frustrating because it seems like they're just retreating more and more into their own stories and into the manufactured bubbles of perception of this reality, and won't question the nature of the reality, or that there is anything else that hasn't been seen. Or it's like the thing about seeing is believing and believing is seeing. But like if we don't believe, like how can we see? And if we don't see, how can we believe? And how can we receive the insight to see if our beliefs are already full? So if we're so full of our beliefs, like how can we see anything else? How can we see anything new? How can we expand beyond that, like what we're currently seeing? And so it was like really like felt like little fires, little triggers, little sparks, and it just reminded me of like putting out little fires in this dream that I had. And so I'll just read a little bit about it and expand on that, like what I've been working with and how it relates like the last couple weeks. So it's contracting and relaxing and easing and expanding. It's okay for me to feel all I am feeling, just suspend beliefs, judgments, and agendas, and allow all I am feeling. And realize all these aspects in the dream are a part of me and my psyche, collective and personal unconscious, and the mind's projections, thought forms and deceptions, wounded aspects asking for reintegration, attention, reception, acceptance, and understanding. The dream starts out with 3 and 1. That's me and Kensbury and Jade, ? They're planning on going on a big gathering of tribes, some kind of change-making event to collectivize the mind, a convention or rally or party or group meditation for change and tribal highs. They'll be gone for a few days, and I'm going out of town to Kelly's. So I'm at Kelly's house with Victoria, Chrissy, and others. Kelly isn't there. She's between places, coordinating with peeps and organizing a meeting place before we all go to this activist rally that includes all types and all walks of life, or so it seems. I get a flash of the Marines, like uniform saluting hive mind mentality, robotic-like, under a spell of conditioning that people use to get high and feel right. Anyway, there are preparations to make, and I'm excited to see old friends and Sangha medicine companions, and I have my own expectations and agendas of wanting to feel right and be right and do it right, seem right, etc. And tensions are high. There are only a few of us spending the night until the rest of us come, until all the rest come in to gather as a tribe. And there's definite triggers that everyone is feeling or picking up on, but not quite totally aware of. Anyway, I'm tired and it's time to sleep, but things keep preventing me from going to sleep. It's like putting out little fires, and then more and more little things keep coming and are requiring attention. And it is getting frustrating, trying to manage all these things and taking on this responsibility, or trying to please or make it all comfortable or as pleasing as can be. And I'm patient and understanding at first, and dealing with others' meltdowns and agendas or worries, etc. And finally, I'm so exhausted that I kind of snap. And I kind of start yelling about something. So Vic is kind of yelling and is wondering about what to do. And I'm just lying down and I just want to sleep and rest. And I react, I don't know, let it go or figure it out. Like, I'm so super fed up, and I feel all the rage and irritation spill out, and it couldn't have been helped, but I feel sorry for reacting that way, and I immediately say I'm sorry. And then people start to arrive, and as the house starts to get full, as all these types file in, they're mulling around, meeting each other, passing each other, interacting, grouping together. All are in their own bubbles of perception with their own stories and agendas of what is right and how they're right, and just kind of lost in their own worlds of illusion of grandeur, self-importance, and identities within the tribe. And some are quietly sitting, observing, witnessing. Some are going around visiting, talking, greeting, meeting, etc. And it's funny. Kensbury and Jade show up, and we're tripping out that we were actually going to the same place, or this was kind of a midway station to the pre-gathering. So there's allies, friends, and then there are familiars and hostiles taking up residence. When my dogs are there with me, and something strange looks like it's happening with Abby's face, and someone takes it upon themselves to take care of her, even though they have no clue really what's been going on. Her eyes, or her forehead looks really strange, like her eyelid is separating from her face and just sitting there above her face. I try to explain, but it can't really be heard or understood because everyone is convinced their story or perception or belief is correct or accurate. And I feel really fucking tired and debating about just going home to rest because I don't know how much more of this I can take or stand. And Kelly is there and busy with things and all the comings and goings and all the things. And then it's like some people have their own agendas and are using force to get others to comply. And it's almost like a joke to them in a way because they take it so seriously and don't realize the irony of or the ridiculousness of their choices, stories, actions, and agendas. They tackle me to the floor and try to inject something in me for my own good. It's a service, really, of course, LOL. Self-righteous arrogance, and I fight with all my life and might to hold on to what is mine, and I'm so sick and tired of this shit, this gathering of a steaming hot mess with so much unconsciousness and misdirected energy. And I go outside for a minute gathering some things because I've decided the best thing to do is to leave, remove myself, and disengage. And as I come back in, it's like been explained, look, Jen hasn't had any sleep, etc., story. So that kind of taught me that I would be looking at like my stories and to pay attention to the story, what stories are coming up around all of these triggers and all of these messages, all of these aspects. And so then the two people that tackled me come up to apologize, but I have nothing to say except no, just no, like get away from me. And they look at each other all wounded like and feel like martyrs. Oh, well, we tried. And it's really disingenuous, and it stinks of motive and agenda to feel all right, or to force that feeling of it's all right. Yeah. And I'm not engaging with this. I have no interest in making them comfortable or in pleasing their egos and saying it's fine, because it's not. It's so not. And I'm just getting ready to leave. And I see Kelly, and all this anger is welling up, and I tell her how fucking pissed I am, even though it's not really apparent from the outside. I look pretty calm, actually, and collected, and I feel this electric current running through my body, and all this anger like a sun radiating inside of me. And she says, wow, good medicine. And Jen, I don't even know what you're going through, and seems pretty sympathetic, but doesn't seem to really get it. And then I wake up with huge feelings of anxiety, sob, panic, defensiveness, and it takes me a minute to breathe and be with these intense feelings and realize that I'm safe. And it's just a dream I was having. But the feelings were so hyper intense, and definitely felt a huge spike of adrenaline. Oh man, so intense. I felt anxiety and fear all over again in writing some of this dream down. Must be super potent for my integration and individuation process of healing. Holy shit, lots of stuff relates. I am willing to see all I need to see. I let go and surrender and release it to thee. I am a sovereign being. I forgive me. I release me. And I am willing to let it all be the gift that it is and all it shall be. Oh yeah, and I woke myself up talking in my sleep, saying bratty assholes. Wow, it took me a bit to write about and process this dream, but I have the feeling that my anger and my guardian protector, my no-nonsense, fuck the BS aspect really is there to help guide me and help me set clearer boundaries, and she is legit and right. And I call on her and thank her for helping me see that it is right to say no and walk away sometimes, rather than negotiate my power away for the sake of false peace or mediation. So, just to save face or to smooth it all over and pretend it's okay, because it wasn't okay, and I'm done rolling over to be the nice girl all of the time. I'll draw from this strength to protect what is mine, my energy and my personal power, my integrity, and my right to be sovereign, whole, well, full, and free. My goodness, what intense feelings. This aspect really wants to be acknowledged, included, and seen. And I know there's a lot more to this dream, and I did feel irritated or disappointed with Kelly in the dream, like a little hostility under the seams. And I wonder sometimes why I have such high ideals and expectations for my teachers, mentors, elders. Like, I feel like they should be exemplary in their actions and ways of operating with more integrity and impeccability. But they are, and we all are human beings, and we are all perfectly imperfect, however we be, and that's why discernment, responsibility, and accountability is key. Now more than ever, trust in my own authority. Don't look to others to show me the way or be looking outside for who I truly need. And let go of blame and shame. We're human beings. We all make mistakes. We all have our blind spots and struggles to claim, work with, look into, and grow through. Yeah, amen. So, yeah. So going back to like the little fires that I was putting out, like to manage all these things and taking on this responsibility or trying to please, trying to make it comfortable or as pleasing as it can be. And yeah, that's just kind of funny, like in certain ways, that about being unable to sleep. And I think there's something in there, like, first of all, yeah, it's kind of funny. Haven't been sleeping as well as I used to. Yeah, these last 6 months have been like exhausting, and I've needed the endurance and the stamina and the strength, yeah, to be here and to keep working and to keep playing with all of this. And yeah, I was just, yeah, kind of ruminating, like, man, I kind of just want to be done already with this, because man, it's just kind of, it's so much. And I felt like I just been dragging along like a big ball and chain while plowing through my garden, you know, and I'm willing to like let go of this weight now and these chains, and like let go of the responsibility that's not mine, and really been working through that the last little while, because I really have wanted people to wake up and see what's going on and see beyond the stories, scripts, and narratives that are being pushed as agendas. Yeah. And it's been really frustrating for me because I was hopeful and expecting people to come around and be able to see. And it's just not happening. So it's just like, maybe it's time to let that go now, because they've already made their choices and they've already made their beds. And it's frustrating in a lot of ways, like not being heard, not being seen, not being taken seriously. Yeah, but that's like looking for things outside of me, like for validation and approval and belonging outside of me. And so, yeah, that relates, and part of my survival strategies too. Even though like all of me wants to rail against and go against and beat my drum in my own ways, like, but it's like still in a way like wanting them to join me, you know? And that's not like a bad thing to, because belonging is like an inherent survival need. But like, again, it's like looking outside for what's inside of me. And so I get to claim that. And in a lot of ways, it's like I have found my true belonging, and I have started to meet my tribe in these last few months, and showing up to groups and meetings and classes and meeting people who were meant to come into my life. So that's like something that I'm really grateful for, and I get to celebrate as I'm grieving, letting go of the old and letting go of those who aren't aligned or who aren't meant to be on this part of my journey with me. So that's been a little bit hard, because I love them and I want the best for them and I am concerned for their well-being. But again, I'm unable to really do it for them or to convince them of anything. And I know it's not my job. And I did feel responsible, like feeling super responsible to shine the light on these things. But if they're unable to see or unwilling to see, I can't make them see. And so I'm really willing to release that need to be seen as right, or to make it comfortable or easy, because maybe that's, just something that I wanted it to be, was easy and comfortable and pleasing, but maybe it's just not gonna be. And so it's gonna be uncomfortable and it's gonna be displeasing, and maybe I get to be uncomfortable and displeasing and displeased. So I'll allow that and I'll work with that. It doesn't have to be pleasing, and it just gets to be what it gets to be. And so I'll just share like some things. I really was avoiding like some of this because I was so angry, and it was just kind of funny how I felt it was wrong for me to feel so angry about these things. And so I went back and I was like, okay, what story is, being told right now? And I caught myself several times, like during the last week or two, like going, oh, you guys, man, you guys are so dumb, or you guys are just, whatever. And it was just like, okay, what's this about? Like, it's kind of like, why am I like expecting other people to get it? Really? Like, because I don't know what they're supposed to get, really. I don't know what they get already. So I don't know what they're meant to get. So like, it's kind of funny. And so I just like started paying attention to the story, and I didn't censor myself in what wanted to be expressed. And so it was like just me feeling angry about like how they couldn't get it, how they were unable to get it, and how they're just retreating and going deeper into their own stories and like the scripts that are engineered to control our perceptions. And that's what makes me like sad, because I know that they're intelligent, and I wouldn't be so upset if I knew they couldn't get it. Like if they were just all slobbering idiots, and I'd be like, okay, they're just idiots, but they're not. Like, and so that's what was so hard for me to like just let go of, because yeah, I really wanted them to get it. But yeah, and maybe that was for me, so I could feel more comfortable and I could feel more at ease too. So what came out was like, you guys are so dumb. You guys are idiots. You guys are retarded. You guys are stupid. You guys are annoying. You guys are frustrating as fuck. You're willingly blind, deaf, and dumb. And so my irritations are with quote unquote people who don't get it or refuse to see or hear or will even fucking consider to open and listen. Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. So programmed, brainwashed, clueless, ignorant, vain, arrogant, stubborn, so inflated, so afraid, so insecure, so irresponsible, so entitled, so full, so asleep, so unaccountable, such fools, such assholes, such sheep, and such slaves. So caught up in your own web of deceit and tomfoolery. So caught up in your shame and your myths and your stories. Your lower egos propping up the stories of your virtue of fantasy, false images, ego flattery and glory, pedestal fakes and frauds. So wrong, so misled, so deceived, so ill, toxic, and diseased. So, yeah, that's all points to like wanting to be right, like the survival strategy of wanting to be right. And like that is like one of the archetypes. One of my main archetypes is the innocent, who wants to be free to be. And the worst fear for the innocent is doing it wrong or not being right. And so, yeah, I can relate it with that archetype and with that survival strategy. That's a dominant part of my blueprint, my personality. And so, like, again, looking back at the agendas, what agendas like I have to be safe and to feel right and to feel ease. And so, like, can I feel ease and can I be at peace as life is and as things are and as I am and as they are? Like, and so, yes, no matter what's going on outside of me, can I feel compassion and peace and ease and receptivity, even though these aren't things I want to see, and I don't want to see them go through like more pain and suffering. I don't want to see more harm done through compassionate ignorance, you know, and arrogance. But if this is what it takes, you know, I guess this is what it takes. And maybe there's got to be more pain and suffering for them to be able to awaken. I just don't even know. But I was hoping to avoid that. And so I can look at where I've been avoiding, what I've been avoiding. And it's like, yeah, the discomfort, being uncomfortable. And so I can embrace being uncomfortable, and I can allow being uncomfortable or feeling uncomfortable. Allow the feeling of discomfort and allow things to be uncomfortable. So allow myself to feel uncomfortable. And so I wrote, they are not, or probably not, going to see it my way, but whatever, they're going to see it in their own ways, and that's okay. I'm willing to let go of how they choose to see things and how they choose to view and believe their own stories. They're free to choose and live out their own stories. My loyalty is to me. It's not up to me to manage how others choose to perceive, receive, or view me and my energy. I am accountable to me. So I asked myself some questions and just been working with these feelings I'm feeling, and these wounded aspects and survival strategies, like letting those show me what's asking for inclusivity and what power or aspect is asking for reclamation or asking to be reclaimed. And so August 31st, yesterday, I wrote, I'm feeling less and less angry, or feeling less anger, and feeling more acceptance, gratitude, and space for holding presence and receptivity through forgiveness and accountability and responsibility. So yeah, I have done layers of forgiving, and I've been working on forgiving almost like every single day. Like, I'm willing to forgive, and I choose to forgive. And I forgive you, I forgive me, I forgive we, I forgive all, I release thee. So, a willingness to own my own BS, to own my BS and my shadow, my power and my free will, my energy and creativity, my choices and my wounds, my strengths and possibilities, my limitations and my potential, my weaknesses and my gifts, to be, share, give, receive, relate, dance, play, and operate in whole new ways, through whole new ways, in and through. So where do I feel or believe that I'm a victim or playing a victim? And for who? Who am I playing the victim for? Who am I blaming, and what or who do I feel needs to change? Do I believe that I need to change anyone or convince them of anything? What can I claim for me and we, and what can I choose for my well-being? What boundaries get to be remade? Where do I get to show up more fully? Where do I get to hold space? Where do I get to listen and allow more fully? What is love asking me to see or allow and receive? What power gets to be reclaimed? What fears get to be faced or confronted? What love gets to be freed? So I allow all things to exist today, and the archetypes that were coming up that I could see were the devil, the tower, the moon, the sun, the world, the judge, victim, slave, hero, tyrant, idiot, the nitpicker, idealist, perfectionist, fraud, the sovereign, the ruler, the queen, the mother, the orphan, the magical child, the magician, the priestess, the fool, the empress, the strength, temperance, and the innocent. And so I was looking at the ego's need to be right. I surrender the need to be right. I choose to be free. I choose to be accountable. I choose my fullness, wholeness, and integrity. I choose to respond and own my limitations, lessons, stories, and strengths. I claim my gifts to share, live, and embody, receive, and be. I claim my power, my love, my abilities to create the life I am dreaming, manifesting, becoming. I choose to challenge and let go of my rigidities. I claim my right to be all I am, a divine being having a dark and light human experience. So don't worry about the outcome. Just get in there and do my thing. Trust the universe, trust love, trust in thee, trust me. Trust all my love for all of me. Trust love to carry me. Trust love will always be. Trust in thy love to carry me. Trust my intuition and my heart's whisperings. Trust in my abilities and my love that God has given me. To share, offer, grow, and be. Trust in the love I am and all I get to be. Free, receive, and see. Thank you, love, for everything. And so, yeah, just thinking about, like, maybe it is about the need to control certain things, like, yeah, for a sense of security, for a sense of comfort, for a sense of belonging. And it's like funny, it is about control, but that's really silly, because anything we try to control ends up controlling or enslaving us. Something to contemplate. Silly being silly. And I have about given up trying to talk sense with them because they can no longer make any sense. They're so full of their own one-liner programs and their scripts to reinforce their good girl and boy images, ego stories confirming their self-righteousness and the virtues of their slave sacrifice, Lambs to the slaughter, scapegoating, blaming, shaming others, playing the victim, judge, hero, and the jury, slave, executioner. What a soap opera drama. Oh my, sigh and cry. Shall I just watch as they line up to die? Or shall I just observe the story from detachment or an ego override? Hawk medicine. Thank you. Please. I am willing to see all I need to see, all that love has to show me about me and we. Thank you. I surrender. I am willing to be free. I release thee. I release me. I release we to be. I allow all things to exist today. Thank you for the challenges and opportunities, the blessings and lessons to see into me. What is the intimacy I really need? So it just makes me feel so mad and sad, feeling anger, disgust, and grief, feeling frustrated. It's time to speak, let go, surrender, cry, and grieve. They have already made their choices, and I choose to be at peace. Make peace, claim peace, be peace for me. I really cannot make them see or realize or think. So what can I choose to feel peace or be at peace with me? Freedom, love, and accountability to me and we. With love for love and love through being true, being free to be, freeing all love to be received, freeing love to be. So, my idealist and perfectionist is so very angry, upset, and grieving. Is it really a question of why can't they see more like me? Or why can't they see they're just like me? Or why can't they see any other way than the closed off one-way street they're operating through? Yeah, from or through. So why do they have to be this way? Am I disallowing of their sleepiness, of their beliefs and ignorance? Can I allow them to be asleep to their ignorance? I really want them to see it, own it, and wake up to it. There really isn't anything I can say to convince them of anything, so maybe just withdraw and choose my own ways. Remove myself from the situation and disengage. Move on to other things. Focus and possibilities. They're just not able to see what is right in front of their face. And so I surrender. I surrender the need to wake them up or help them see. They cannot see if they are not willing to see what they choose or choosing not to see. Yeah. So asking myself questions, what can I see? What can I allow myself to see? What do I get to choose for me? What can I choose for my well-being? What do I get to choose to be for me and we? What can I choose for my well-being and my energy? How or why am I taking this so personally? Like, why am I taking this so personally? And so I'm so done with the closed-minded and their hive mind groupthink mentality. They are livable goobers, but dangerous to me. And that makes me feel sad, and that's why I'm grieving. They have good intentions, but they're loyal to slavery and to reinforcing the system of domination and control, total tyranny. And that is so sad and hurts my feelings. Why would they choose comfortable slavery over life and me? Why would they choose to give their power away? Why would they choose more control and willing slavery? Why would they force that on all living beings? Fear, trauma, and avoidance of their own suffering? Control is a funny thing. It's the illusion that we can control anything. For what we attempt to control reinforces our own chains of slavery and controls and siphons our living energy. So, I'm most upset about the conformity, the going along for social security, of getting along for false peace, the closed-minded one-way street, the victim, the judge, and the hero at play. Since when did we need to control all aspects of life to prevent and avoid all risks of death and disease? And that's what makes me angry. It's trying to control all aspects of life to prevent and avoid all risks of death and disease. Yeah, and so in trying to control that and stifle and suppress that, we're really making ourselves sick, you know? And we're, playing into that disease that we're trying to avoid. And so that's freaking ironic to me. So is it really the devil of being comfortable or avoiding the pain of discomfort, the pain of growth? Maybe compassion then is the remedy, allowing it all to be as it is and responding with love, discernment, and receptivity. Setting boundaries and getting grounded, feeling all my feelings, blessing, thanking, expressing, allowing, and releasing. Speaking up vulnerably and authentically with and through my intimacy imperfectly perfect, awakening human beings, or the still sleeping, divine human beings, embracing all love, free to be, receive, give, share, live, embody for we, receptivity, allowing all paths, lessons, and stories. I claim my own and write my own stories. I forgive you, I forgive me, I forgive all, I forgive we. Thank you for helping me see it's really all about me. I claim all my love for my whole being, my true belonging and my full becoming, my well-being of love for me, we, thee, and she, to claim, honor, embody, and live through me. Live through loving all of me. So, yeah. So some good things to ponder and look at and illuminate, transmute, and grow through. So, yeah. That's what's just come out in the last couple days, as I've been doing my best to work through all ways, through all my ways and all her ways and all love's ways, all God's ways. So, yeah. The last video that I did that I couldn't upload, I picked up a few books and it was so funny. Like, I didn't even know like what pages I was going to open to, and they all were freaking amazingly synced like to this one theme of duality and unity, and it was so great, and it was just cracking me up, like it just the wink wink, you know. And one of those things that related and was a synchronicity was from this book, Aphrodite's Daughters, Women's Sexual Stories and the Journey of the Soul by Yelaha Bonheim. And there is a little story yeah. But yeah, that's funny. I thought I had a bookmark here for it, but I don't. It was just really one of those things. It was like, holy crap, and it was just so funny. Because it was like the two that are one. Maybe I'll find it later. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Maybe we'll leave it for another time. But, and I'll probably find it like right after I close this video. It's funny. So, from Shadows of the Heart, I will read something that I just flipped open to just now, and it's called Honoring Anger. Anger, the emergency emotion. Most of us know from personal experience other responses that don't work. Denial, I'm not angry. Guilt, I'm angry but I shouldn't be. Self-condemnation, what right do I have to be angry since whatever is wrong is probably my fault? Or blame, no, it's your fault, I'm angry. These reactions doom anger from the outset. Dealing effectively with anger demands a different starting point. We might name it acceptance, but acceptance sounds so patronizing. The benefits and risks of anger inspire more than reluctant assent or begrudging tolerance. How do we befriend our anger? First, we honor it, then we evaluate it, then we tap its energy to help us act positively for change. Dang. Honoring anger. Anger is always ugly, but it doesn't always have to be bad. Hendry Weisinger. Honor captures the awe and respect that anger provokes. Here is a formidable, even dangerous emotion. Anger threatens the delicate web of social life. Unattended, its energy erodes relationships and risks degenerating into vengeance. But access to this energy is indispensable. In the dictionary, to honor means both to recognize and to respect. How do we honor anger? Recognizing that angry feelings are normal is a good place to start. Honoring helps us hold this formidable emotion as expectable, inevitable, allowable in our life, without rushing into actions we will later regret. Simply acknowledging, yes, I feel angry, begins to release us from the burden of denial. The esteem implied in the word honor serves as an antidote for the wounded attitudes that many of us carry still, especially a tendency to punish ourselves for feeling angry. Instead of being besieged by guilt over an outlawed emotion, we learn we can accept our anger even as we struggle to decide what to do about it. Reaffirming for ourselves the difference between feeling angry and acting enraged takes us a long way in taming anger's power. Anger signals passion ahead. Proceed with caution. Honoring anger helps respect this power. To honor anger, we have to pay attention to what we are feeling. The effort of paying attention counteracts an impulse to respond too quickly. The effort of paying attention counteracts an impulse to respond too quickly. This discipline interrupts the urgency of our arousal, giving us time to consider consequences. Psychological studies show how paying attention helps people respond well to anger. Summarizing more than a decade of research on how people deal with their emotions, psychologist Leonard Berkowitz describes a pattern of reflection found among people who are able to regulate negative moods effectively. Berkowitz discovered that paying attention starts a significant process of discernment. When people first become aware of their anger, for example, they are somewhat surprised or disturbed, and this prompts a relatively high level of cognitive activity. They think about the possible causes of their feelings and even consider what may be the best way to act. These considerations then steer their behavior. When attentiveness does not intervene, Berkowitz found that the hostile and aggressive tendencies created by the negative mood are less likely to be restrained and are likely to be expressed openly in harsh language and violent actions. A commitment to honor anger encourages us to pay attention to our feelings, and paying attention helps us read anger properly and use its power productively. Evaluating our anger. Anger's always been hard for me to deal with. Some of my friends call me a hothead. I admit I'm likely to respond immediately if I feel slighted or if somebody takes advantage of me, and sometimes that's good, but sometimes not. Lately, I've been getting a better hold on my anger, something that works for me now. When I start feeling angry, I say to myself, my anger is trying to tell me something. I keep repeating the phrase like a mantra. This calms me down, but also points me in a new direction. Instead of flying off the handle, I try to look more closely at what's making me mad and why, and that's been a real revelation to me. My anger is trying to tell me something. Anger always carries information, but its message is seldom immediately clear. Befriending anger includes finding ways to retrieve this message. The first step is to interrupt our typical pattern of response. For some of us, the automatic response is finding a scapegoat, someone to sacrifice our rage. Wow. Searching out a culprit shields us from facing our own part in the problem. This stance warps anger's strength for self-defense into a strategy of self-delusion. Our customary response may be to give in when we are angry. Perhaps we've learned that anger is terribly unladylike or seriously sinful or patently immature. Or we may fear the consequence of our own or other people's rage. So we acquiesce, hoping that refusing to assert ourselves will make the feelings go away. I don't want to upset anybody. It's dangerous to demand my rights. Protesting would be impolite. This compliant stance, too, subverts the revelation our anger may hold. Sandra Thomas, director of the Anger Research Project at the University of Tennessee, recommends a simple strategy to help uncover our automatic response. Keep a log of your anger experiences, recording with whom you become angry, to whom you express it, to whom you do not express it, how long it lasts, and what thoughts accompany it. Soon patterns will emerge, giving us a better sense of what our own anger looks like. Evaluating these patterns helps us decide what we want to do differently. My anger is trying to tell me something. In befriending anger, the response to be nurtured is readiness to learn. To learn what? Something about ourself, the risks we sense to our self-esteem, or the ways our personal histories have left us vulnerable to hurt, or how events and circumstances trigger this vulnerability into rage. Since anger erupts when deeply held convictions are threatened, being angry can reveal the values we hold worth fighting for. Tracking our anger back to its source can also uncover a rift between our professed values and how we are really living. Anger here is an ally for our integrity, challenging us to make the changes necessary to get back on course. Or anger may be trying to tell us something about our world. Being angry is a response to frustration. For many of us, the frustration is lack of time. Our irritability stems from a sense that we're falling behind.
We strain against the seemingly endless demands of workplace and family responsibilities. For others, anger reveals the weight of other people's expectations. We live in a world where many people feel they have a right to dictate to us, setting goals we should achieve and faulting us for failing standards that are not our own. Our frustration may point to a troubled relationship. A valued colleague undermines our authority in public. A teenage son retreats into silence or verbal abuse. Or anger alerts us to a significant setting become dangerous. A climate of racial intimidation pervades our neighborhood. The threat of sexual harassment erodes our confidence at work. Examined, our anger can give insight into how our environment has become hostile and start to show us the shape of an effective response. My anger is trying to tell me something. Discerning this message requires effort. We stop to reflect on what triggers our angry feelings. We interrupt a customary pattern of response to ask what needs to be questioned or challenged or set aside. Evaluating our anger inserts a pause in our arousal, leaving space for anger's wisdom to emerge. Wow. Wow. I don't know how perfect that was. That was perfect. Really, that was what I needed. That was funny. I opened it to read about shame, and that's what that's what came instead, because that was more appropriate for right now. Yeah, it's kind of funny to just go with the flow and allow. And that's a lot, like, yeah, to take in and let percolate. And so, wow, how perfect was that? Like, and how much it relates. And wow, all that was packed into that. That was great. So, yeah, I think I'll end it there. And thanks for joining me for my practice and my play practice of alchemy. So, what's been going on? What's been coming up? What's been illuminated? What's asking to be included? And like, how have you been feeling? And how's it been going on your journey for you? What kind of things have been coming up for you and through you to work through? What archetypes have been at play? What patterns have you seen emerging? Or what are your emotions? What are they? What messages do they have for you? What are they telling you? So, yeah. Be well and take good care of you. Thanks for listening. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye.